You've only gone and downloaded a multiplesources.net podcast. For more episodes of this show and a bunch of other content covering everything from NBA teams to professional wrestling, visit multiplesources.net. Multiplesources.net. But wait! Act now and you too could join multiplesources.net. Yeah, we're looking for people to do their own podcasts about different NBA teams. We're looking for blog authors, video highlight creators, basically anything you can think of to write about sports. You can kind of write or create to your heart's content. So if you want to help us and join this up-and-coming independent blog and podcast network monster, go to multiplesources.net. I'll stick something in the sidebar that says join us or something equally unfunny, so go and click on that. Join us!
Are you ready?
Oh, yeah!
Hello and welcome to the 20th episode of It's Always Sunny in Phoenix, a weekly podcast where we keep you up to date on everything Phoenix Suns basketball. We'd like to say thank you to our listeners that tune in every week. We really appreciate it. And today we're going to do some mock draft scenarios and predict who the Suns will draft depending on who is left on the board. Then we will have some fun and share some rule changes that we think today's NBA needs to put in place. And after that, we'll talk about the playoffs and make some finals predictions. I'm Charlie, and I have Mitch and David here with me today. What's up, guys?
How's it going, everyone? I am normal.
It's a good way to be.
Normal,
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I'm doing pretty well. I can't believe it's been 20 episodes already. Jeez, it's flown by.
We're moving along here.
Yeah.
Keeping them coming.
Yes. One thing I'm going to mention real quick, we've been saying at the top of all of our episodes that we're looking for a new writer. We've had a little bit of interest on that, and we're still searching for a couple writers possibly. And what that entails is doing a lot of game recaps, so being able to watch games, talk about them, and then you can always write about whatever you want. There's no restrictions, but there's a lot of games in a season, and so it's helpful to have more people talking about those games. Any people who are aspiring sports writers should feel free to contact us, because this is great experience, and employers always want you to have experience. Well, this is that experience they want you to have. And, we're fans. I didn't study journalism in school or anything, but we're all fans, and we've taken that to the next level, and now we talk about this team in the podcast, and we write, and I know I have learned a lot about sports writing through this, and just the lifestyle of being a sports writer. If you're interested in that kind of thing, it's a good way to gauge your interest before jumping in. If you're a student, it's a great way to start. And, this experience has helped me a lot because I got a job at a newspaper as a sports editor. And I've had this experience that I was able to talk about, and I know my employer looked at our website and everything and saw samples of my work. So this is a good way to build your portfolio and everything. So feel free to apply.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff. So shoot us an email at sunnyinphxpod@gmail.com, and we'll definitely be in touch with you. So let's move into these mock draft scenarios right away. And with this, we'll assume that Simmons and Ingram go 1-2. But then after that, there's a lot of discussion on who the Celtics will be taking with that third pick. So let's go through and assume that the Celtics will draft a certain player, and then we'll make our call on who we think the Suns will draft in that situation. So let's start off with this scenario. With the third pick, the Boston Celtics select Dragan Bender. Now with Bender off the board, what direction do the Suns go? David, you're first.
I think this is the most likely scenario. And in this scenario, I think that when it hits number 4, we hit up Jaylen Brown. I kind of just see that's how it's going. He can play really either wing position, shooting guard or small forward, shooting guard mainly in bigger lineups. He's pretty raw offensively, but he's got a little bit more of a progressed offensive game than someone like a Justice Winslow last year, but he's not quite the defender that Justin Winslow was coming out of college. And he's got the NBA body, so I think all those things check off to someone that we can do and someone that can probably be a successor to PJ.
Cool. What do you think, Mitch?
I agree with that. I think we go with Brown at the 4 spot, and that's actually what I think is going to happen. I don't think Boston's going to pass up Bender.
Right on. And, lately there's been a little news about Marquise Chris from Washington kind of jumping up some draft boards. And he's just a great athlete at that power forward position, and that's something the Suns are definitely lacking right now. So you take that into consideration if they're not big on any other guys after Bender and Chris to fill that 4 spot. Maybe we take him. But I'm going to go with you guys and say Jaylen Brown as well. He'll be a nice guy to plug in, depending on what happens with PJ, and definitely some insurance with TJ Warren there. So that'd be a nice way to fill out the roster at that small forward position. Okay, so we all agree on Jaylen Brown there if Bender's off the board. So let's switch it up and say the Celtics select Jaylen Brown. What way do you guys go with that then?
I would go with Chris, like you mentioned earlier. Apparently the Suns are really high on him. He's super athletic. He's pretty raw. He'll need a little bit of time, but if you just watch a highlight video of him and you'll see how athletic he is. It's pretty awesome to see. Whoever gets him is, I think, gonna really get a nice player. So yeah, I would like to go with him if Brown is gone. I think Jaylen Brown is a bit more refined already, but if he's gone, I think it's Marquise Chris.
So you like Chris more than Bender?
I do, yeah. But
all right.
I think that's just because of the situation we're in. I don't really think we need a European guy to have stashed for a while. I think what we need is someone who can immediately come over and fill the 3 or the 4 spot.
How about you, David?
So the Marquise Chris thing kind of reminds me of Aaron Gordon coming out. I believe he was mocked for between 6 and 9, and then all of a sudden he got at 4. Is where he got picked up at in the 2014 draft, I believe.
Sounds right. Yeah,
I think that's
going.
Around where it is. Someone can fact check me on that, but that kind of is what that reminds me of, the Marquise Chris jump up. So if we're looking for someone that's a project, but we know kind of what he is, I think Marquise Chris is that guy. He might. I mean, at this point, we can kind of go for a home run hit instead of just getting a solid player, which is either way, Dragonbender or Marquise Chris, I think, is going for that. But and if we feel like Chris is the guy, then we can go there. I think you go Dragonbender, as much as I don't necessarily like the pick. I'm not the biggest Dragonbender fan, and if you look at I did a draft profile on him on multiple sources .net/Phoenix Suns. I did the draft profile on him, and he's a big question mark and everything, but he's a pretty darn good perimeter defender, which is something that I do like about Dragonbender. And I think that there are some things where he will just completely outperform Chris when the time comes.
Aaron Gordon was taken 4th overall in 2014.
You nailed it.
Woo, go me.
And I'm along with you for this one. I also think if the Celtics take Jaylen Brown, I think we're going to go Bender too. And, it's really sad that we haven't watched much of him play against the talent we're used to seeing these guys play against. All the highlight videos I've seen, he looks like a man among boys, height-wise. He looks like he's got half a foot on everyone out there, but that body definitely needs to fill out a little bit for him to be successful in the NBA. But I could definitely see us picking him up, letting him come along for a year or two, even though we really do need someone at that power forward spot right now, depending on how free agency goes. But I like Bender over Chris for now. Maybe we'll see more about Chris as we get closer to the draft, though.
Yeah, just real quick, I think that if you are worried about Bender ever putting on the muscle that's needed for him, I think that could be a reason to also go Chris, because Bender has the height, but he's only like 220 pounds at 7'1". Dude's a string bean. And if you don't think that he's going to ever really be able to put on that mass, then I could see you going with Chris, not thinking, but going with Marquise Chris, because he's kind of already got that body, and he definitely loves contact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's definitely ready to fight down low and grab rebounds and have some tip-in dunks right when he gets into the NBA. So he'll definitely be an interesting prospect. I'm excited to see where he lands. All right, let's go another situation here and say the Celtics select Chris Dunn 3rd overall. So now we have a guard off the board. Mitch, who do you say the Suns take in that case?
Okay, so didn't Dunn say he doesn't want to play for Boston or Phoenix?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, Chris Dunn, that the Celtics selected you 3rd, but in this situation, I think we go Jaylen Brown. We could go Marquise Chris or Bender, but I don't know what we would really do. What I want is to go Jaylen Brown in that situation. But one thing real quick about Marquise Chris is he was someone who I didn't think would come out of the draft come out of college after 1 year. I covered UW a little bit when I was doing my college writing, and I wrote a season preview about them. And I thought they were going to be like this horrible team because they had all freshmen, and I didn't think any of them were like one and done kind of players. And then he came out and had this great year and looked really, really good and is NBA ready now. So he was a very nice surprise for that team. And I think that's something that could happen in the NBA too. He could be a nice surprise for someone. But yeah, Jaylen Brown. I think we go Jaylen Brown.
Right on. David.
Well, this is the dream scenario, really, I think, for us, where both Dragon Bender and Jaylen Brown are both on the board, and we can go for whoever we want out of those two guys instead of whichever one the Celtics don't pick. And I think those are probably our top two guys on our board. Chris, I guess, is getting up there, but I got to think that he's behind both Jaylen Brown and Dragon Bender. And I think you go Jaylen Brown here. I think he's a little bit more known than Dragon Bender. I have no idea, to be honest, who we go here. If someone told me Dragon Bender, I'd be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. And if someone else told me Jaylen Brown, that would make sense to me too. I just have absolutely no idea. I think either of those guys, it wouldn't surprise me if the Celtics pick a guard, and when it comes up that either of those guys get picked or Chris even gets picked, none of that would really surprise me.
Right. I think I'm going Jaylen Brown with this one too. He just brings some long lost size and athleticism that we haven't had in a while. Well, mainly since Gerald Green was here. In the fan experience, you want to have a guy throw down some dunks, fly over someone. Brown's not quite the shooter Green is from downtown. He has some work to do on that. But I think it'd be really exciting to get Jaylen Brown in here and then let him grow as a son And with that size and athleticism, he could turn into a pretty solid defender. You look at guys like Jimmy Butler and Kawhi Leonard, and just that he has that size coming out of the draft. So I'd definitely be happy with taking him. He's my number one guy to take, no matter the situation. So we were going to talk about Jamal Murray, but since none of us are interested in taking Chris Dunn with that pick, we can just skip that.
I thought I was for a second interested in Chris Dunn, and then I did my the draft profile on multiplesources.net/Phoenix Suns. I did that.
It's on our Facebook page too.
He would not fit into with our other guards at all.
No, I have seen that Chris Dunn is the best on-ball defender out of this draft class, though. So if we're looking to bolster up that defense in the backcourt, I mean, Bledsoe plays D. We don't have to worry about that.
Right.
So I don't see Dunn being an option for us, especially because he already said he's not interested in coming here. So,
but real quick, imagine if we had a lineup going out of Dunn, Bledsoe, PJ Tucker, insert 4 of choice, and Tyson Chandler. That could be pretty stingy.
Good on defense.
That's mean defense right there.
Yeah. And then we could score like 30 points a game.
That too.
Yeah, kind of like when we went the Twin Tower lineup towards the end of the year. It seemed like they were playing really great defense, and when you looked at the stats, they were playing decent defense, but on the other side of the ball, they could not score. Not at all. So, and before we move on here to the rule changes, let's talk about Jamal Murray a little bit. I'm in the process of writing up a little review on him for multiplesources.net/Phoenix Suns. So, he's from Kentucky. Why not draft him?
Yeah.
Another Kentucky guard.
That's a good point.
And the more that I watch him, he has some Devin Booker similarities, and he's not the greatest athlete out there at his position. Solid 3-point shooter, and then obviously the Kentucky connection. So the more and more I watch tape on him, the more and more I say, why not? Why not just get another Wildcat here?
How much did Coach Cal want to coach? Because maybe we should bring him over. I know he wanted a lot, but
I mean, the Brooklyn Nets were willing to give him a lot, so
yeah.
I don't know why you would.
Why can't we be willing? Yeah.
I honestly don't know if I would take $1 million to coach the Brooklyn Nets right now.
I would.
I would too.
I wouldn't do a good job, but I would.
No, if they need to tank, I'm your guy.
Yeah,
I'll coach the tanking Nets for $1 million a year.
Okay, sure, I'd do it for $1 million, but the Nets,
Brooklyn is such a cool area now too.
Well, sure. But we're talking basketball here.
My first order of business as Brooklyn Nets coach is to become the GM and then trade the rest of their first round picks for forever to the Phoenix Suns. Oh, how did that happen?
I'm interested.
Well, hey, while we're talking about all these wacky ideas, I think it's time to talk about some NBA rule changes that we would like to see put in place for next season.
Let's do this! Buckle up, buckaroos!
And David, I'm pretty sure you have Adam Silver on your top 8 friends on your MySpace page, right?
Oh my goodness, I am. I'm gonna give Adam a little bit because there was a solid 3 months there where I was like, no, Adam's like a good dude. He's whatever. He could be pretty good. Whatever. And now I am not a big fan of Adam. I took him out of my Fave 5.
Oh no.
You don't have unlimited minutes with him anymore?
Nah, man. I keep that for Chuck and D Wade.
The ads on the jerseys made you take him out.
Ads on jerseys,
Oh my goodness.
legal nut shots. I mean, he's getting pretty bold.
I mean, Bill Simmons said it best. We should just add nut shots to the All-Star weekend.
Some Rochambeau.
He had so much promise.
I know. He came in. He got rid of that garbage Clippers guy. Sterling.
Donald Sterling.
Couldn't even.
Yeah.
Donald Sterling. There we go. And I was like, yeah, that was the right thing to do. Let's see what else this guy has up his sleeve. And a lot like you, David, I was very cool with him until just the last few weeks here.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
Okay, well, hopefully David has enough pull with Adam Silver still to let these be heard like they deserve to be. So maybe we should quit talking smack about him.
Nah, we can keep talking.
Deal. All right. Mitch, you were the one with the idea for this segment, and you possibly have some of the most creative new rule sets. So take it away, my man.
So I was inspired by the past couple series, but especially the Warriors Thunder series for implementing some rule changes. And I have a lot of ideas. I'll start simple, and I'll save the most realistic idea for last. So my first idea, Steph Curry inspired, and you guys know this already, it's no surprise, but if you wear a mouth guard and it's out of your mouth for more than 2 seconds, it's a technical. That drives me crazy. Keep it in your mouth. And a lot of this comes from my one-way feud with Matthew Dellavedova. In college, he wore a big mouth guard like that and stuck it out. And what's the purpose of even having a mouth guard if it's just going to hang out? So Steph and Matthew Dellavedova, put your mouth guard in. That's my first one.
I like that. And maybe after the technical, we have someone designated to come remove the mouth guard from their mouth and just be like, no, you don't get this anymore. No. And they take it and then it's gone for the game.
And then you hire a ref specifically for that purpose.
Yeah.
Job creation.
Perfect. NBA. Just giving back. What else, Mitch?
Keep going,
man.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
You keep going.
So then another idea that we kind of discussed a little bit last night was if someone flops, depending on the severity of the flop, it turns into a power play. The flopper has to go into some sort of penalty box, but it's very demeaning. I'm not quite sure what it would look like yet, and maybe you guys can help me out with that. But if you flop bad enough, most simple flops will be a 90-second power play. So that's a little bit less than 4 possessions. And really good defensive teams can hold the ball. It's just like hockey. You on the power kill, you dump the puck to the other end. So what you could do in basketball on the power kill is just throw the ball into the corner and dribble around. And it would be hard, but that's the point. It's supposed to be hard. And that would help eliminate flopping. So power play on floppers. But I think as far as I would want to go is minors and double minors. So I guess we could call it minors and majors in basketball. So it'd be either 90 seconds or 180 seconds. So for a really, really bad flop, there were a couple of pretty horrible ones this year. Those would be 180-second power plays. And then that led to another idea of lowering the hoop, putting it on the ground, and having someone stand in front of it. And then instead of on the floor, everyone would just skate on ice, and the ball would become this little rubber disc, and everyone would hold sticks. But I've decided that I don't want to make 2 of my favorite sports the exact same thing. So just power plays. I think basketball could really use power plays.
You know, I like the idea of it, and I think if you flop, you should be berated nationally just as much as possible. Like on Sports Center, they need to have like a hopefully no longer than 5-minute segment every evening, and then they just get to make fun of you. Like they can just be dirty too. I mean, they can go at your soul. They can get you.
It's like,
and it's just accepted. It has to be because you flopped.
we're moving in that direction, I think. Look at Shaq a Fool. That's
true.
helping with traveling. Well, I don't know if it's helping, but it's exposing traveling and flops and really horrible passes and that kind of stuff. Okay, should I keep going?
I want to keep talking about this one a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
I have one amendment.
Okay.
And I know it would be nice to hold guys out for 90 seconds, but if we're going to try to make this realistic, which is tough to do, but if we're going to try, I say you're just out for one possession on offense, one possession on defense, and then you're back in. Like after the rebound or the bucket, you just like hockey sub back in, run back on the court, game back going.
Okay. And for a really, really bad flop, it could be 2 offensive and 2 defensive possessions.
If you weigh over 250 pounds and you fly backwards more than like 2 feet or something along those lines, we'll let the physics guys figure that out. But then that would deserve a longer penalty box appearance.
Okay.
We already almost have the one possession, though, on either side, because half the time when guys flop and then they're too busy complaining when they don't get the call, that then they just don't get back on defense. Like a certain donkey-faced guy that breathes through his mouth.
Who's that?
Oh, I don't know. It was just an example.
Okay. I hear you there.
Wow.
All right, David, after that, I think maybe you should throw out a rule change here.
I'm interested.
Yeah, so I've had the idea after watching the last couple of games that every team's allowed to have an enforcer. And
just quit.
Just straight up, just don't stop even worrying about, but like just one of your guys is just out there to just like clothesline someone. Like sometimes, like we had Raja Bell that would do that every once in a while. Like there was that famous one where he did it with Kobe. And like, I mean, Bill Laimbeer could come out of retirement and make a couple $1 million to just be an enforcer on a team.
Kevin Garnett.
He
could play for 30 seconds a game.
He's already an enforcer, though. Well, he just does it with his mouth.
That's true, but he could do it physically and play for 5 more years.
He enforces from the bench and then frightens everyone within five rows behind him. He just frightens all the fans too.
Yeah, no, that's about right. But yeah, so mine is an enforcer, and you can use your enforcer to take out another enforcer, but that's your use of your enforcer, and you can't use them for the rest of the thing, so you got to be smart about it. And I mean, if there's that one guy that just keeps on flopping or having a certain shot motion where he flails and starts kicking people in multiple areas of the bodies, I don't know why that came to me just now, but you send out your enforcer and just, rough him up a little bit.
Yeah, give him the business.
I heard this guy, someone that you're talking about, I don't want to put any names on this or suspect who you're talking about, but I think he kicked someone in the armpit.
Yep.
Wow.
A rather tall gentleman, too. He kicked him all the way up in the armpit. How do you do that?
A certain impressive. Tall gentleman near and dear to my heart, he kicked in the armpit. I mean, it wasn't... it's just an example, but when you kick someone that's getting close to 7 foot in the armpit as part of your natural shooting motion, and then you have a certain other guy that's the color commentator that's talking about how that's part of his natural shooting motion. I don't know who these people would be, but Maybe you should send the enforcer for the color commentator guy, too. You should be allowed to do that when they start saying stupid stuff.
Eddie Johnson, the perfect enforcing color commentator. He'd be great there.
It's like taking the Reggie Miller kick to an extreme.
Oh my goodness.
But I think all four or five, all of the TNT guys need to just commentate games too. Like, they would not talk about the game, but I don't care. I can watch the game. Like, I want to hear them in game, even if it's just once.
A couple of times a season, Chuck does it.
Right,
like,
and
for their games where they're not really worried about the ratings or anything. He'll be it just because
I want him and Shaq and Ernie Johnson, and I want all of them. They are amazing.
Did you guys see that Ernie Johnson beat Chuck in a 3-point contest?
Yes, it was so funny.
Oh, man.
Are we really that surprised? I mean, I'm not. I wasn't at all. I was like, Ernie's gonna kill him. He's a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah, and Ernie will keep that moment in his heart forever, and he'll never live it down, I bet.
Oh,
he'll probably like Ernie Johnson's great grandson will know that Ernie Johnson beat Charles Barkley in a 3-point contest.
Oh, that recording along with the dunk on like the Fisher Price hoop, we're going to be playing it at like everything. Like, here's his retirement party; those will be playing. He's on TV; those will be playing. He's having his memorial; those are going to be playing.
Yeah.
Love those guys though, for sure.
They're so good.
Okay, I'm gonna throw in one of my rule changes here, which it's not too crazy, but maybe it gets a little crazy towards the end, but I'll let you guys see. So, I believe that the free throw shot clock should be changed from 10 seconds to 7 seconds. And, I'm really not trying to change the world here. I just like the pace of the game to get picked back up a little, especially when you get into the hacka situations, when you're just fouling to get a guy to the free throw line. And that's another whole thing in itself. We can talk about that. But with this, I think it'd just be a quick way to speed up the game. And then if you really want to set this in, put 7 seconds on the shot clock when a guy gets to the free throw line. As soon as he catches the ball from the ref, start the shot clock. So he sees the shot clock, he knows he has to put up the shot. And then could you imagine trying to suck some wind and catch your breath before you shoot your free throw, and you're just about to shoot it, and then the shot clock goes off, and you're just standing at the free throw line all by yourself? That'd have to feel pretty bad. And I think guys would really try to avoid it. And, there's nothing too crazy about this. I don't see why we couldn't move in this direction.
I'm with you. I think that's a great idea.
I like that. And I actually have my own free throw rule change, which is if you shoot under 50%, you automatically have to shoot underhand. Just straight up. If you've had, like, let's say it's 50 attempts throughout the season, because that means that you're getting to the free throw line a lot, and you can't hit over 50% of your shots. That's it. You gotta shoot underhand. I'm done with this. Oh, these guys are getting hacked and they can't shoot free throws. Blah blah blah. Well, they can figure it out. They get paid millions of dollars to play basketball. They can figure it out. They have to go shoot underhand. If you don't want to shoot underhand, get better at your free throws.
Yeah, I was watching a scrimmage before the combine, and right as I turned it on, I can't remember his name, but I remember he's out of Louisville.
Yeah.
I turned it on, and he put up 2 underhand free throws, and I'm pretty sure he made both of them. And that was just pretty wacky to turn on. You're expecting to see the best players in the country playing a scrimmage, and then you see a guy granny up a free throw. But, he made both of them, so good on him.
He did that all season, and he was decent at it. I don't know. I have actually not seen him shoot them not underhand, so I don't know what his regular free throw shooting was like. But
I mean, Rick Barry is known for shooting underhand. That was his thing. He shot free throws underhand, and he hit them at a ridiculously good percentage. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
It has to be a point of pride, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That's what Shaq said. He didn't want to look stupid.
Well, Shaq, you look stupid shooting a ball that looks like a tennis ball in my hands. Like, that's a tough thing to do. I understand, but you gotta figure that out. You have a 20-year career in the NBA. You've been shooting a basketball for 30 years of your life. You can go 50% from the line, right?
I mean, to be fair, Shaq did go over 50% from the line most of the time.
Yeah.
And he never really shot the ball. He just dunked.
Yeah.
He just dunked.
I think the closest thing he ever had to a shot was his jump hook. That's the closest thing he had.
It's like a shot put.
His jump shot put?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, going along the lines of speeding up the game, I have another rule change idea for speeding up the game. And this one I don't think it's that crazy. I think in the last 2 minutes, if you already have less, scratch that, I'll explain that later. In the last 2 minutes of the game, both teams get one full timeout and one 20-second timeout. If you have less than that already, then you just stay with whatever you have. But last 2 minutes, one full timeout, one 20-second timeout. Because there's way too many timeouts being called in the last 2 minutes of the game.
I really like that. And you could actually use those timeouts to keep your guys fresh rather than last-minute game planning, which, I mean, that's a kind of a big deal for a coach, but that would be a lot of fun, though. I think that'd have... Yeah, I like that. What do you think about that one, David?
See, I'm actually in the opposite camp on this. I think that if you can hold on to as many timeouts as you can, that if you have those 3-4 extra timeouts at the end of the game, then that's impressive, and that's good on you. I've always been in the camp, if you can hold on to as many timeouts as you can until the end of the game, have extra chances to drop some plays, any of that kind of stuff. I actually really like that, so I'm not the biggest fan of that rule change, but,
Well,
and we might be able to think of something.
That's true. It's good if a coach can keep that many timeouts, but...
How about this?
Okay, go ahead.
The full timeouts turn into 20-second timeouts within the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's
all
good.
Full timeouts become 20-seconders. I can get behind that.
And you get to keep one full timeout. I don't think there should be only 20-second timeouts.
Nah, only 20 seconds.
Sometimes you need. But yeah, you keep one full timeout and the rest become 20 seconds. Or, I don't know. Yeah, okay, sure.
There, we nailed it.
Nailed it.
Mitch seems very confident about that.
Compromised.
All right, any others?
I have a couple more.
Oh, Mitch, keep them coming, man.
Okay, so I think I only have 2 more, unless I think of another one while we're going. But this next one is something that has bothered me for the past maybe 3 seasons. When an offensive player sees a defensive player standing with his hand straight up, and he jumps directly into the defensive player and throws the ball like he's shooting, and it's called a shooting foul, that drives me crazy. And I think it should be an offensive foul. I think if someone... Yes, if you pump fake, that's one thing. But if you go up to someone who's standing with their hand straight up, dive into them and throw the ball, it's an offensive foul. That's what I think it should be. It's so annoying.
I like that. And it seems like the NBA has done a better job of not calling the foul if the defender, this is a different scenario, but if the defender jumps straight up with his arms straight up, they'll let that go no matter how much contact happens, because normally, well, all of the time, if they do truly jump straight up, it is because of the guy with the ball. So I do like that, but isn't it a rule that you can't, if you do get a guy up in the air, you can't put your body into him and shoot the shot regardless? So what's the difference if he's just standing there?
I don't really know, but it's what I see, you know? I see these guys standing there getting jumped into, and I think the defensive players already have a lot going against them. Like, look at how hard it is to draw a charge. It's so specific to be able to get a charge, and there's a restricted area. You have to be completely set, and if you even move one little bit, it's a block. But I just think anytime that you jump into someone who's playing good defense, it should be an offensive foul.
I actually
if you go over, what's that?
I have a little bit of an add-on to that.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
If you lean one side or the other, like when you're shooting your shot, just so that way you can make contact with a dude that's jumping to the side of you, that's not a foul. Period.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Don't even call that an offensive. That's just not a foul. Period.
I like that too.
So that drives me nuts. That's another D-Wade special. Of the getting the guy in the air and then just leaning as much as you can into him one way or the other. Any of those, I hate that so much, and it so is just bending the rules as much as possible.
Right. I understand the strategy. The strategy I get, but I think it should be eliminated. But yeah, that's all I have on that. And I just have one more rule change, and this is my most realistic, and I think you're going to like it. It's another hockey thing, actually, and I think it'll speed up the game.
All right.
Every team needs to have a captain and 2 alternate captains. And they're the only ones who can talk to the refs. So if there's a problem, the ref can call both team captains over to discuss it. And if your team has some kind of beef, the only person who can talk is the captain, or if the captain's not on the floor at the time, an alternate captain can do it. And otherwise, I don't know if it would be a technical, but it's just like the ref would just say, bring your captain or something. And that way, it'd speed up the game. It would eliminate a lot of the whining after every call. Then it would be cool for the jerseys to be able to put like a C or an A, like in hockey, on the basketball jerseys. The NBA could benefit too, because they could, when they sell jerseys, they can charge $5 extra or whatever to put the little C on the jersey. And it's something that's really cool, I think, in hockey, to look back at a team and see all of their team captains. And it's a good way for leaders to be able to be a little bit more visible. And you don't have... I think it would eliminate some problems like people saying LeBron is so selfish. He could embrace his role as a team captain, and then people might view him as, oh, he's this leader, you know? So I think that's something that is realistic and would eliminate a lot of the whining.
Well, wow, that was really thoughtful and well laid out.
Thank you.
Compared to all the other ones we've had.
I've thought about that one a lot because it's realistic.
Yeah.
I'm hurt that you think mine aren't thoughtful.
Enforcer.
Hey.
Get a dude to blast him.
The Thunder just have Nazir Muhammad just sitting on the bench not doing anything. Come on. If he had like the go ahead to just go out once a game and just like completely pile drive a dude that's being annoying and won't stop breathing through his mouth, I think that's a great idea. Also, I have a couple other rules, by the way. I have a couple other rules that I've been holding on to. Let's see. If you trip a guy, that's a foul. Let's see. If you accidentally punch a ref somehow, it probably should be a technical. Let's see. When you are pulling down on someone's arm while they're trying to get a rebound, guess what? That should be a foul.
Hey.
Oh my goodness.
We don't talk about that on this podcast.
No, you just to really make the effect known and to really deserve the foul, I think you actually have to separate a bone from the other, possibly a shoulder or a collarbone or something along those lines. I think that's what really takes it to the
learning
next
experience.
Oh my
Boxing
goodness.
out is important.
Boxing out.
Don't just try a little
Nazir
harder.
Muhammad is just sitting at the end of the Thunder bench. He's not even retired. I thought he was retired. He's just still chilling out on the bench, just not doing anything. You know, every game, just pile drive that donkey face.
One per game.
One per game.
What about,
Get one. The enforcer gets one.
do you have any ideas on how to eliminate these moving screens?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
If a guy moves their feet while they're setting a screen, that's a foul. That's how you eliminate it.
Well, okay, to enforce the rule that's already in place better, I guess.
Hey, if a ref does their job bad, he shouldn't ref anymore.
Okay.
May I, David?
Go ahead. Go for it.
Okay, back to the moving screens, though. Something I've noticed just this year all of a sudden, and this may be the same guy that David keeps talking about, but these moving screens, it's not the same as what you're used to. You're used to a guy taking a lunge out with his foot to get him with his hip or his thigh, or lower a shoulder or shift the whole body. But what seems to be happening is they put their hands down and then act like they're getting pushed by the defender, and they just stay with the defender and they don't leave his hip. So it looks like he's being pushed by the guy trying to get around this screen, but he's just setting a blatant extended moving screen. And it seems like this has been going on so much this year, and it looks so much worse than the moving screens we're used to. So
That makes a lot
I'm
of
pretty
sense.
fed up with that garbage myself.
Yeah.
There's another one that they do when the defender cuts under the screen. A lot of teams do this. This isn't one team that does it, but when the defender cuts underneath the screen, and they will go and run, they'll start their rollout early, and they run into the defender, and then but it's a basketball play because they're going for the roll or for the pop or any of that, but the defenders in their way. So it's like a basketball play. That's one that happens a lot, and I think is a joke, kind of, along with the one that you said with the whatever it is. I'm really angry right now. I'm back to being angry again.
Uh-oh. That's what'll happen. And prepare to get more angry because we have a little time left here to talk about these playoff series that have been going on.
I do have one real quick. One real quick. For real. For real. This is a real one. What do you guys feel about pushing the 3-point line back?
Oh, that's right. I am okay with where it is.
See, I think that if you push it back, or if you don't even push it back, but you make you widen the court a little bit, and you make the corners the same as everything else.
Oh.
I love Jared Dudley. Jared Dudley is great. I love JMZ. I loved all that stuff when he was out here. Dudley was great. I loved him. But there is no reason on this earth that he should be a valid starting power forward against guys like Blake Griffin or LaMarcus Aldridge, or when there are those guys out there, that he should be able to start because he can stand at the shorter corner and just sit there and chuck a three and make it every once in a while. There's no reason that should be a valid, like, 4 spot in the league, in my opinion.
That's interesting. I like that idea of widening the whole court.
You just widen it a little bit. You keep the same distance from the 3-point line and the out of bounds, whatever. I blanked there for a second. But you keep the same distance, so you just widen the court just a little bit. And you just make the line just the same at every single spot. So that way, you know, the guys that are really good at 3-pointers, they're still good and valuable. And some stretch fours are valuable, but I mean, when Jared Dudley's just chilling out in that corner and getting starting spots over some other guys or going up against other guys, that's just kind of silly in my book.
I really like that idea, just to stretch out, well, not stretch out the court, widen the court a little bit so that 3-point line's the same length. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. You just widen it just a little bit. I don't remember the exact length of each one, but you just widen it a little bit, and then there's a little bit more space in the arc, within the arc, and you have a real spot where you can have a traditional power forward and a center in the paint.
And would this
go for it?
Would this stop everybody stepping on the out of bounds sideline when they catch a ball in the corner too? Because that'd be great.
Yes.
I don't think so, because in my head it's still the same distance between the 3-point line and the out of bounds. In my head, but you might get guys that are stopping in the corner and just right on the 3-point line or right within it, and maybe that would help. That would stop that a little bit, but you're still having that same amount of distance. So if you're trying to catch it in that 3-point line, you change some things where shooters know where the line is and blah 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 blah. But I think that that's the best way to do that and get a little bit more traditional power forward play and a little bit more traditional post play. Because if you're shooting a 3 from the same length as some of these point guards and stuff who are really skilled shooters, but you can sit in the corner and make a similar percentage, I think that's just... I know the league likes it. It's high scoring. It's blah, 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 whatever. Analytics. I don't know. But
I like that idea.
Yeah, same here. And we wouldn't have to rewrite the rule books by like making the 3-point longer altogether. It'd still be the same length. There wouldn't have to be an asterisk next to people's 3-point percentages in the Hall of Fame or something like that. It'd just be...
Right.
And, you know, athletes are getting bigger and stronger and faster, so why not make the court a little bit bigger just to make up for that corner?
Completely stop the stretch 4. Guys like Mirza, who can shoot it from anywhere, are still going to be able to shoot it from anywhere. It's the other guys that are not Mirza.
Yeah.
All right, so we hope that Adam Silver hears all of these. Does anyone have anything else to add before we move on?
No,
we're good to go. All right, let's just quickly touch on the playoffs a little bit. Last night, we watched the Warriors tie up the series against the Thunder, and Game 7 is Monday night back at the Warriors gym. So this is a must-watch basketball game, I'd say, for us true NBA fans. You really can't miss this one. And then in the Eastern Conference, the Cavaliers beat the Raptors 4-2 to end up the series. So we will once again be seeing LeBron in the finals.
I'm shocked.
6 years in a row, right? Is it 6?
Yep.
6? Yep.
That's impressive.
The last team to keep LeBron out of the finals was the 2010 Celtics.
Wow.
Man, that's...
A pretty awesome finals, by the way, but...
Well, I'm glad we're out here in the West where we don't have to deal with LeBron until the finals do come around. So, let's, if you guys want to say anything about these two series that have been going on, we can do that. But other than that, let's make predictions for the finals and see how we think the Cavaliers will pan out against either the Warriors or the Thunder. Mitch, you can go first.
Okay, first off, I'm glad the Raptors won 2 games. I didn't think they'd win that series. I'm glad they won 2. The Cavs probably won't ever be this good ever again. This is their best shot to win it all, and I still don't think they will. I think the Warriors are going to win Game 7. I thought as long as they won Game 6, they would win the series, and they did. And I think it's going to be Warriors in 7 in the finals.
David?
Okay, so hear me out on this enforcer thing. If the Thunder don't think they win Game 7, do you just tell Steven Adams, like, look, you are great, you've been stone-faced the entire time, but that donkey, just lay him out. But I really don't want to talk about the Warriors and Thunder. I am not the happiest with Sir Silver, and after another trip that the league didn't look at, I'm getting flashbacks to a couple other series, like 2007, and
yes,
like that's the big one that I've been getting flashbacks this entire time, and it's not. It didn't make me feel good when the Thunder were up 3-1, and it seemed like that's the way it was going. So
I think about Amari Stoudemire stepped on the court and got suspended.
Yeah.
And this other player kicked someone more than once and didn't.
it wasn't just Amari; it was Boris too,
and Boris Diaw. But
that hurts so bad.
Ugh.
I stopped watching.
I'm sorry I even
for
brought
a
it
while
up.
after that.
Yeah. Oh, I was so mad.
Anger entered my life for the first true anger entered my life for the first time after that series. Oh,
It was bad.
let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
Raptors wise, I'm glad that they didn't get swept. By the way,
Right. It was nice. Kevin Love finally lost a playoff game.
Yeah.
but he didn't lose one in the U.S. Blah, blah.
Oh my
God.
Put it on the front page of Reddit.
Oh my goodness. So, but Bismax Biombo, BB8, whatever you want to call him, dude was putting in work. He was at one point averaging 8 points and 20 rebounds. That was fantastic.
Yeah. He was great.
He definitely came up big, especially because Valanciunas wasn't quite 100% through some of these playoffs, so Bismack definitely filled his shoes and then some on the rebounding end, at least.
He was on a minimum deal this year, wasn't he? Like, it was like only like a $3 or $4 million deal, I think, with a player option. I guess GMs are saying that the floor for his contract is at $15 million right now.
Wow.
Per year.
Oh,
Wow.
That's a significant pay raise.
It's like Tristan Thompson.
Who wants to pay Biombo?
One of my favorite things from that series, too, is in the presser the day after when Kyle Lowry was like roasting his teammates, and he's like, Valanciunas doesn't speak good English, neither does DeMar.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
I love those guys. I know they're coming
so
back
great.
next year, DeMar and Lowry, and I'm so happy because both those dudes are hilarious.
Great. They're so great.
Good teammates.
They're perfect for each other.
It's fun to see. All right, well, yeah, let's just quit talking about the playoffs, and they're almost over anyways. So let's go into our non-sports related plugs. And you guys actually have kind of set things that you like to talk about. So I'm going to, in case people are really looking forward to those, I'll save those for the end. And I'll get mine out of the way. So this is somewhat sports related on 2 levels and then not sports related in 1, but I'm going to talk about it anyways. So I stumbled upon this on Reddit. It was a group of guys that got together and wanted to run a mock draft for the NBA this season. And just but we'll do it before the draft and then pick who we think our team would pick. So I landed the GM job for the Suns. It's been fun. And like there's an owner and a coach, so we kind of discuss things. So
Nice.
yeah, it's been really fun. And then all of a sudden, someone said, "Why are we just doing a mock draft? Why don't we take this into next season and play it out somehow, like fantasy sports or something like that?" And I suggested, let's do it on 2K. You can make the trades, and you can do the draft on 2K. So like everybody's all hyped up about this, and everyone's making crazy trades for their teams. So it's really been a lot of fun, and I'm pretty excited to see how it's going to come out like as the season plays next year. And
Nice.
so yeah, I might be coming to you guys for help when I get on the clock with that number 4 pick.
Buddy.
Oh yeah, there
Sabonis.
you go. So if you want to check that out, it's on Reddit. The subreddit is called NBA Live Mock Draft. I'm pretty sure there's some spots open still. So if you want to check things out, see if you can help out, go for it. And speaking of that, I haven't talked to the owner of the Suns in a while. So maybe we can work a buyout. Someone can buy out the Suns and be the new owner.
Get rid of those nachos.
Yeah, but you have to keep me on as GM. That's all I ask. We can fire the coach too. Get rid of him.
Aw, but what about family?
I've only known him a week. All right, that'll do it for me though.
That's
David,
awesome.
you go ahead.
All right, so I have a book this week. I was reading a Captain America story called No Escape. Came out in 2010. It's written by Ed Brubaker. I don't remember who it's drawn by.
Ed Brubaker, that's my dog.
Ed Brubaker is a great writer, and your dog should feel very happy that that's your dog's name. But oh my goodness!
How did you come up with that?
Ed Brubaker is a pretty good writer, and yeah, so just look up the story. It's not Steve Rogers Captain America, but it's a different Cap, and it's just a good story all in all. And with Captain America kind of in the news this week, check it out.
Come here, Ed Brubaker. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Let me wipe these tears. That was so funny. Okay, my plug, my album. I'm finally going to be topical. Usually I pick something that came out like 2 years ago because I don't listen to the radio or anything, so I don't really know what's new unless it's like a band I really like. But a couple weeks ago, a band called Pierce the Veil came out with a new album called Misadventures. Don't judge me. I know that a lot of teenage girls really like Pierce the Veil. Well, I like them too. This new album is a little bit heavier, and so I really like it. The bass stuff in it is really good. I turn it up really loud in my car, and the bass just booms really nice. My favorite songs are Texas Is Forever, Phantom Power, and Ludicrous Speed is a really good one. Today I Saw the Whole World and Sambuca. Those are my favorite tracks. So check that out if you're a teenage girl, or if you're not, like me. And hopefully you enjoy it.
Okay, real quick though, have we ever seen Mitch and a teenage girl in the room at the same time?
Oh, I don't think so.
Interesting.
Conspiracy.
It's like that part in Dodgeball with when Bernice is taking the horse tranquilizer or whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I guess you'll never know.
Well, what a way to end our show.
One of
Be
the
sure to
weirdest
check us out
endings.
on social media. Follow us on Twitter under the handle @SunnyandPHXPod. Find us on Facebook under the name Phoenix Suns, multiple sources. Hit us up through email with questions or suggestions at sunnyandphxpod@gmail.com. Head over to our website at multiplesources.net/Phoenix Suns and the entire Multiple Sources blog and podcast network. Thanks for listening, and go Suns.